Greetings everybody, this is Marcus Toole and it is currently June 17th and I am in my garden. Actually, no, it is June 16th and I am in my garden and I am about to plant some habanero type and super hot chili peppers in my garden. Now, I already have a lot of chili peppers in the garden that are about ready to produce, but I wasn't able to get the Scotch bonnets and some of the super hots when it's more appropriate time to plant peppers in Georgia, simply because of COVID, and it was just hard to find the plants and be convinced that they would get here in a timely manner and in a healthy way. So I just put it off. I really wasn't planning on doing it this year, and then one of the companies got some plants in, and I guess they raised them from seeds actually, and I was able to order them from California. And so I have some plants that I've been wanting to try growing for quite some time, and I'm now about to show you some of what I got, and then I'm going to show you some of my planting techniques and then a little trick for hardening plants that my dad taught me. The super hots are going to go in next to some existing super hots that I already have in the garden. Some of the ones I was able to get locally, thanks to a friend and thanks to Lowe's. So what I already have here are there are two ghost peppers here. One of them's even got little bloom buds on it. And here by this little marigold we have an apocalypse scorpion. There's a blackberry bush. This is really supposed to be a row of blackberries, but the peppers can share the space this year. Not next year, but this year they can. Another apocalypse scorpion. A serrano pepper that's entirely too close, but the apocalypse scorpion will get the spot if they start fighting bad enough. And here is a jalapeno, chocolate habanero, another chocolate habanero, and two very beautiful habanadas, which also have bloom buds on them. And these are the babies. I just pulled out some carrots, and these are the babies that are coming. I have more babies on order, and what they will do is they'll go into pots. I haven't decided which I'm going to do, whether to put them in pots temporarily and just put them in gallon pots and wait for these beans to finish bearing and put them in the ground here, or to put them in 5-gallon buckets and just grow them out in the buckets all through the summer. I pretty much have to make that decision today, because whatever I decide will depend on whether or not I order more. And if I don't order more today, if I'm ordering more, I probably won't even have the option of ordering more. So we'll see what happens. I'm deciding, I mean, it's really basic a decision of how many chili plants I actually want to plant this year. I already know that I have more than I can use, but I'm hoping I might be able to sell a few, or at least give them away, or make some things that people will want. But these are the little plants. Let me show you what I got. I got them from Jim Duffy with Refining Fire Chilies. I've been very happy with their service. There's only one little bit of a disappointment, but it's not something that I'm mad about. I'll tell you about that when we come to it. This is the Boot Orange Copenhagen. It gets this spot because this is the shadiest spot, and it's probably going to be the most light sensitive ones of these plants. Just because it's a ghost pepper. This is a Jay's Peach Ghost, and that has a lot of ghost pepper in it as well. So it gets the next shadiest spot. Another Jay's Peach Ghost. Over here we have a Scotch Brain. Actually, see, I was going to put my cat in the house, and he keeps coming out because he wants to be with me, but he's going to be in the way the entire time. Another Scotch Brain. Those were actually supposed to be Scotch bonnets, but they were out, and so the company just substituted with Scotch Brains.
A little disappointment because I mean, the Scotch bonnets was really what I was wanting to grow. But I was thinking about getting the Scotch brains instead of some of the other Superhots. So I was kind of wanting to grow the Scotch brains anyway. So I'm not mad about it. I get what's happening. It's kind of a crazy season. I'm really late ordering and so on and so on and so forth. A daisy cutter. I'm really excited to see what that's like. Another daisy cutter. This is a habanero tabaquite. Wasn't sure about the pronunciation on that, but looking it up on the internet and stuff, I think that's what I come up to with the correct. This is a Moa Scotch bonnet. So that I do have one Scotch bonnet. It's a red one, but I have one. And this one here is a another habanero tabaquite. I'm actually going to swap it out with that Scotch brain, so that the habaneros and the Scotch brains are together, because I'll probably collect seeds. And this last one here is a carbonero. Even though that has a lot of ghost pepper in it, those leaves look like this is one that can take a fair amount of sun. So just by the shapes of the leaves, and that doesn't look like they're going to be huge leaves. I think that's, if there's one going to be in the sunnier location, you see how and why the ghost pepper is going to a little more protect its position. It'll still get a half day sun, and the red ghost peppers that's right next to them are doing really good. See, here's a ghost pepper is in a lot of sun, and it's kind of a little yellower than I would like for it to be. And over here, under protection, to get some protection from this orange tree, I'm going to put the, that's a purple ghost scorpion. I'm kind of separating it from the others simply because I want to save seeds for this one. And this is a very new variety, still quite unstable. And I want to see if I can save seeds and get my own variant of it.
Okay, here I am. I'm about to begin planting these little peppers. Now, one of the things I want to say about planting peppers, especially if they come from a nursery and they've been in a greenhouse and they've been in a dark box, that it's a big mistake to plant them in the sun outside if you don't provide them some protection from the sun. And in fact, the instructions that come with the box says not to plant them right away, but to harden them off, and gives the instructions from the company of how to do it. I am going to give them sun protection, and I'm going to harden them off, but I'm going to use my dad's method of doing it in the ground, because I am more confident of hardening these things in the ground and of not allowing the heat. I mean, it is June. We lucked out on the day today. It's a cool day, and it's a cloudy day, and we're going to have several more cool days, and that's very unusual in June for Georgia. So, I mean, we got great luck, but I'm way more confident in keeping these plants alive in the ground than I am in these teeny tiny pots. So I'm going to go ahead and plant them, and then show you what I'm going to do to make sure that they have an opportunity to harden off. Now, with pepper plants, I've already worked the ground. I've already mixed in compost and composted manure. With pepper plants, you almost treat them like fruit trees insofar as you make sure that they are even with the ground. There are some garden plants that you bury them a little deeper than where they originally grew. But with pepper plants, you want them even with the ground. I'm planting these pepper plants at 18 inches apart. That seems to work in other parts of the garden with other varieties of pepper plants, so I expect that will work with these as well. These plants are not terribly root bound or anything. They're actually perfect size, so I'm not going to worry about breaking up the root ball. You might do that if they're pot bound, but these really aren't. I'm going to do something that there's a debate whether you do it or not, but I'm going to do it, and that is just pinch off the tip here of this little plant. What that does is encourage them to kind of bush out. I think the rule of thumb is that if you have a short season, don't do it. If you have a long season, do it. Ordinarily here in Georgia, we have a really long season. It's going to be kind of a short season this year just because I'm so late getting these guys in the ground. But hey, we have until mid-November for them to bear, so I think there's plenty of time. Make sure the tags stay with the plants and that they're close enough to where I can see them. I can remember what's where now, but 3 months from now, when I'm trying to figure out how to overwinter these things, I'm going to be, now what is that? Hopefully I would be able to figure it out from how the fruit looks. But my memory could be short sometimes. So, alright, let's keep on going. Thankfully, my cat's not being too big of a bug. He was definitely not wanting to stay inside when I'm out here planting plants. He likes to come and visit. Sometimes, though, he can really be a problem. when you're trying to do this with getting in the way and sitting on the plants and stuff like that. This little plant broke off in shipment. Not too badly damaged, but and I was going to tip it anyway. I just wouldn't have tipped it quite as much as it broke off. That's a daisy cutter, so I got 2 of them anyway. Yeah, I got 2 of them. It'll be fine. That little plant, the leaves look, well, both of those daisy cutters, the leaves look kind of like a capsicum annum. I assume they're identified correctly. But those leaves look different from what I normally expect from a capsicum chinnins. For those of you who don't know, capsicum annum is the species of pepper that, you know, your cayennes and your well, actually most garden peppers, cayennes, bell peppers, all those things. I planted that one a little bit too far apart. Let's move you a little closer to this other plant here. Kind of, I don't know how I got off on my spacing. Got talking and not paying attention to what I'm doing. That's what happened there. There you go. That's the habanero tabacoa. Watched a video last night that convinced me that that pepper is a little hotter than I would have expected from a habanero. From a guy who's can eat, has made plenty of videos where he eats superhots like ghost peppers with no problem at all, and he bit into one of these things, and you can tell it lit up his life. I don't know. We'll see. That's what I mean. Superhots anyways, not that that necessarily makes me unhappy, but I think these yellow habaneros, I think they're going to be hot. I'm going to show you, sideways, I don't get too in the way.
Goodness. I want to show you something about this little carbonero. See the little bloom buds forming on this little plant? It would be a big mistake to let those stay on this plant. So even if I wasn't going to top it before, I definitely want to top it now because I want to get those little bloom buds off of there, because that, as little as he is, that will sure depress the growth of this plant. So we're just going to take this and just pinch it right off. And that's what you need to do when you have a pepper plant that little and it's got buds on it. Don't let those buds stay there. That will sure, I mean, it might make a fruit, it might not make a fruit, but it will delay everything else. You want this plant to grow.
Now this spot where I'm putting this little ghost scorpion, it's going to have a little bit of additional work. It's got plenty of fertilizer in it, organic material when I planted some of these other plants in this area, but I haven't worked this ground and softened it up for this particular plant. I did go ahead and put the tomato cage here mainly to protect the other plants from the hose pipe, and it will stay and it will help protect this little ghost scorpion as well. But for now, we're gonna dig this ground up. Where did my trawl go? Oh, okay. Okay, I'm back. That's what it is. I pushed that tomato cage a little further into the ground than it ordinarily would, just because I want to make it sure that it's just especially sturdy, so that it keeps that this hose pipe from knocking over this pepper. All right. Well, the next thing is to water everybody.
So I want to show y'all how my other pepper plants are doing. I'm over here with my what I call my normal hot peppers. My habaneros and my cayennes. This is a habanero, but boy, the habaneros sure are big. I had one ended up on the ground there, but man, they're big. Woo, look at the size of those habaneros. I don't think I've ever seen grown, these are the regular old orange habaneros. That's a jalapeno. This is a cayenne. It's got a good crop of peppers on it. This is a seedling cayenne. I assume it's a seedling cayenne. The other seedlings have all turned out to be cayennes, and I imagine that one will too. This is a, I mean, when I say seedling, I mean it's a volunteer seedling that just came up in the garden. Here's some more. A couple of them fell off and ended up on the ground. I'm not sure what's going on with that. But for the most part, they look pretty good. Maybe the plant just put on more than it can handle for now. And here's some more. There they are. Really big habaneros, some jalapenos, more cayennes, jalapenos, more cayennes, and some really nice looking eggplants. I have more eggplants in another part of the garden. This is a cubanella peppers. Boy, that's pretty. I am liking how the cubanellas are doing. I just tried 2 this year to see how they compare to the other stuffing types, and so far I'm liking how they are working out a lot. All right, the camera shut off while I was showing you my technique for hardening off little transplants, but that's okay. I can show you now. Here are the little peppers, and in this case I got azalea. Just took branches off my azalea bush and other bushes in the yard, shrubbery. It needs to be something where the leaves are sturdy enough that even if they wilt, they will provide protection for the little transplants. And you just kind of create a little canopy of bushes above the plants that you plant, so that they're getting filtered light instead of direct sunlight. And the other thing you want to make sure about with these is, I mean, you just want to keep this up until, probably a week would probably be enough. As the plants wilt, they will let more light through. Kind of have to watch it. I mean, I look at it every morning, every evening. Many days I'll come home from lunch, especially if it's especially bright and sunny, and look at it and see if the wind has moved something and a little plant's getting too much sunlight. You have to be kind of a little bit vigilant about that, because little transplants, especially these little chinens plants, capsicum chinens plants, are really sensitive to sunlight. This couple of them, nice. I hope they're correctly identified. That this is the habanero here. This is the one that had the little buds. It's kind of one little buds still on it. Get that thing off. Got him. This thing, couple of them really look like capsicum annuum. And what I'm talking about capsicum annuum is that's the peppers, most peppers that we grow are capsicum annuums. This is a serrano pepper, and that's a capsicum annuum. Most of these habaneros, Scotch bonnets, superhots, all these kind of peppers are capsicum chinens, and they usually have big fat leaves that are kind of ruffly looking, kind of like these ghost peppers and scorpion plants, and even the habanada is a good example of capsicum chinens, and the habaneros in the other part of the garden. Roughly leaves as opposed to these darker green, smooth leaves. So I hope I don't have a couple of misidentified plants here. And if they are just misidentified, I hope they're something cool and that I'm able to figure out what they are. But I hope they are what I intended to purchase. All right. Well, that's it for my little pepper planting adventure. I enjoyed doing this video. I'm getting a little better as time goes by with these things, and I hope you learned a few things, at least found it interesting and useful at some level. Don't know that everyone in the world will grow lots of hot peppers like I'm trying to do, but maybe you learned some things about gardening. Talk to you later. God bless.